Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Virtual Grip Network and the Bootleg Racing League welcomes you to the Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentia Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Taylor Burris, and joining me tonight is our producer / my co-commentator for tonight, Trevor Greenfield. And Trevor, we are here for a historic racetrack here tonight, Five Flags Speedway, home of the Snowball Derby. And tell us a little bit more about our listeners about this amazing circuit. I most certainly can, Trevor. We're sorry about the issues right there. But, of course, here tonight we are at none other than this beautiful 4/8 of a mile circuit, just under half a mile, as this oval configuration in Pensacola, Florida. Temperatures right now about 83 degrees around this circuit. And, of course, we will see some conditions really stepping it up here as we progress through the night. Currently, your fastest car out on the track right now with a 16.334 is Jason Menda, the hometown hero, as he is here in the number 45 machine, followed by the multiple series champion, J.R. Shepard. Michael Goodman is rounding out your top three right now as we look through the field. Drivers just finally getting those last few moments of racing in, and this is going to get exciting as we take a look at the point standings. A lot of drivers, a lot of movers and shakers working their way through the point standings here tonight. Currently, it's Justin Morton tied with Austin Belke for the points lead, followed by, of course, Brian Dean, Matthew Thunhorst, J.R. Shepard, your top five. Jeffrey Hart and Mark Herzog got a little bit of work to do as they're sitting 17th and 18th. And then, of course, midfield, you have a couple of tied positions for 7th between Kurt Smith, Michael Goodman, Ryan Seneker, who hold on to that position. But a lot of things happening here tonight as we are here for race number 4 of the season 18 of 2022. For the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen, only on the Virtual Grip Network.
Absolutely, and I'm finally here. I'm finally back, Taylor.
Welcome back, Trevor.
So great to join you here finally as a commentator here for Virtual Grip Network. It's always been a pleasure, absolutely, to do the broadcasting and directing here. And so I've been able to watch a lot of these great super late model races here on Virtual Grip Network. I hope all the audience out there has been able to watch. If not, make sure to go back here in the archives. Got all the races going back several seasons, so you can binge watch Saturday nights if you'd like. Right now it is Jason Menda and J.R. Shepard out there who are leading the way. We'll make sure we get the ticker up there so you can follow along. Just about 2 minutes left to practice here. But you know, you asked me earlier what made this track so special, Taylor, and I would say that 15 degrees of banking. As you see these two drivers here going side by side, this is Shepard and the number 22 of Bruce Pearson on your screen. This is what we saw in the SRX race here last month. It was non-stop, fast, side-by-side action, and we expect that all night tonight.
We certainly do, Trevor, as we watch the action here. Practice just finishing up, about a minute and a half left to go on the clock for the warm-up. We've seen some great racing action all season long for the first 4 races. Of course, just Jason Menda looking to see if he can snag a win as you see him on screen, the hometown hero from right here in Pensacola, Florida. He's a couple hours away north of me. He got to go pretty much up the 95 and then go west over towards the Panhandle. And then you'll find, of course, Jason Menda if you're in the Daytona Beach area, but we'll see him work his way through in that number 45 Toyota. As we look through some of the other competitors here out on track, right behind Jason Menda actually is none other than the number 79 machine of Adam Shane. He currently sits P7 in timing and scoring with a 16.386. And Trevor, just to give an idea of how close the competition is, the top 11, well, actually top 12, is separated by less than a tenth of a second. That just shows how competitive the BRL series truly is.
Absolutely, and it being that tight, I mean, that's nothing. That's just getting an entry point just slightly off on one particular lap. So this is going to be incredibly competitive here. These drivers are so skilled. There's really no difference between first all the way back to 10th. And as I said, side-by-side action. I'm ready. I'm set. This should be a great one tonight.
What a great way to get your feet wet here in the BRL commentary booth with us tonight here on the Virtual Grip Network. As we get ready to watch the action, checkered flag is in the air, warm-up is over, and it is time to give you your starting lineup for tonight's 100-lap feature here at Five Flag Speedway. On the pole will, of course, be none other than the 81 machine of Joe, or actually is going to be Kurt Smith on the front row, followed by Kevin Moody in second, Ryan Seneca third with Matthew Thunhorse in fourth position. Total Downforce Racing's very own Justin Morton, who happened to get a podium during the Peachtree 3 broadcasted event on Thursday, will be in fifth position, followed by Michael Goodman in sixth, Todd List in seventh with Joe Segala in eighth position. Ninth is Austin Belke with Jeffrey Harden in 10th. Rounding out the rest of the field is Jason Menda, Adam Shane in 11th and 12th position. What's the rest of the field looking like at the back half of the field there, Trevor?
Well, we've got starting in 13th, Ruben Altis. Then going to be starting next to him, Joseph Snyder. Starting 15th tonight, Stephen Hilbert. And it'll be Donnie Moore next to him. We've seen Donnie up there mixing it up in the top 10. That we'll be looking for that. J.R. Shepard having to get it done all the way from back in 17th. That isn't any trouble for him, but again, so competitive, so difficult to make passes here. Will JR be able to get it done tonight? And next to him, of course, Bruce Pearson for Pitbull Motorsports. Looking forward to what should be a fantastic night at a fantastic facility. Five Flags Speedway, known because at one time, 5 different countries ruled over this area where Five Flags Speedway is located. So it's got history, it's got banking, it's got speed. We've got the BRL super late models here, and I am excited. Here we go. Joe Segala, Austin Belke, and the rest going to be leading us down to the green flag.
You see the 81 of Joe Segala, who will lead them to the green flag. Kurt Smith had to receive an EOL penalty for the start of this race here, so it'll be none other than Belke who will move up into P2. We kick the green flag as they work their way through the middle of turns 1 and 2, being led by none other than one of the 2 hardest working men in iRacing, Benny the pace car driver. As he leads them down the back straightaway, he'll make the hard left turn down on pit road as you ride on board with Loves Parks, Illinois' very own Joe Segala, as he will lead you to the green flag, as we will see Benny the pace car driver make the hard left turn down on pit road, and Barney the flagman will have the green flag in hand out of turn number 4. It's the greatest show in super late model action. The BRL is underway here at Five Flags.
We're seeing some great action here in the middle of the pack as drivers are already starting to get themselves sorted out. It's coming together very quickly for some of these drivers at the front. They're already going nose to tail, but here in the back we're looking at that's Jason Menda trying to work his way around these 2 just in front. That's Michael Goodman and Joseph Snyder there in the yellow, and then the black and white on the outside. But Menda has to get his way around, and it is not going to be easy tonight.
Certainly is not, as we watch here from atop the racetrack as they come out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Menda trying to find his way around none other than Michael Goodman to break into the 11th position. He'll look to the inside, single file from 11th on back. Your first battle is between Adam Shane and Ryan Seneca. Shane on the outside of the racetrack. Seneca now completes it as they head down into turn 3 and 4. Adam Shane will move up to P13 as we watch and wait and see.
Looks like Goodman got a little loose there, just mid-corner, and that allowed Adam Shane to get through.
It certainly has allowed Adam Shane to get through, as we see 2 of our rookies out on the racetrack finally. Kevin Moody, Stephen Hilbert, who are going to be closing in to be put a lap down here very soon as we watch Joe Segala lead the train of drivers down towards turn 3 and 4. Austin Belke, Matthew Thunhorse now in that 3rd position. Jeffrey Harden trying to find an opening to move up into the podium positions as they work their way back into the middle of turns 1 and 2. Single file, Justin Morton, who is working his way through in that 5th position, had a stellar performance during the Peachtree 3 in the GT4 category class as he moved his Aston Martin up through the field and Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for a very special weekend for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society charity event, raising over $35,000 for that event. So, of course, if you still want to donate, go make sure you go check that out today. As trouble for Jeffrey Hardin, around he'll go, and multiple cars. J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton goes around as the caution is out for the first time.
Oh my goodness. And Shepard there gets it righted, but as you said, Taylor, this is 4, 5, 6 cars involved in this one. It's a messy one. We don't usually see this big of an incident here in the BRL. Have to take a look and see exactly what caused it. It does appear as though it was Hardin who maybe got a little loose. Let's go ahead and see if we can jump back and take a look at Hardin here, and we'll watch from the blimp perspective, see if we can tell from there. So there's Hardin getting loose on his own, and then poor Menda gets tagged. JR goes around as well, and that leaves Hardin sitting athwart chips across the track, has to get it righted, and Shepard as well. Look at that pile up there. So many fantastic drivers. Morton, Hardin, JR Shepard, these are front runners who got caught up in this, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make it up.
Certainly doesn't look like to be the case, as both Justin Morton and Bruce Pearson will come down pit road. Kevin Moody, the first car to be one or multiple laps down out on the racetrack here, as we're under our first caution, a tenth of the way through, completing lap 10 just a few seconds ago, as Joe Segala is still going to retain the race lead. As we take a look at what happened to J.R. Shepard's onboard, unfortunately, the accordion effect came into play with the checkups of trying to avoid contact, and then you see JR hit Morton, and then around he goes after getting contact from, I believe that's going to be the 22 of Bruce Pearson.
Indeed, and that's going to put Bruce Pearson back at the back, Justin Morton, Steve Hilbert, Jeffrey Hardin, J.R. Shepard, all now at the back of this field for when we come back to green. And JR was already having to work around before, but he's probably got some front end damage on that machine, and that will definitely make it more difficult. I can't really see it getting in close with the camera there, but you never know. iRacing's funny like that. You might have a little bit of damage and not know it.
We'll have to wait and see how that car is going to sort itself out when we go back green flag racing, as we're still single file, 13 laps complete. We should be getting the one to go this time by, and they'll double them up, and we'll give you a quick rundown of the top 5 when they double up.
Well, one thing to watch out for as well, we have Thunhorse back at the front tonight, and he was already looking aggressive in that first stint. I think Thunhorse is ready to get around, get up there, back into winner's circle, and hopefully he can do that legitimately this time, not stick his nose into another driver.
To wait and see as they now double them up down the back straightaway. 1 lap to go. It's going to be Joe Segala leading to the green flag with Austin Belke, Matthew Thunhorse, Donnie Moore, Todd Liston, your top 5 as they get ready to go here. As Benny, the pace car driver, will make the hard left turn. Barney, the flagman, will get ready for restart number 1 here at 5 Flags. Out of turn forward, Segala with a great jump on the field as we're back to racing action here at 5 Flags. And Segala will hold on to the race lead, but here comes Matthew Thunhorse with a head of steam. He'll move up to P2. He'll look to the inside, backs off a little bit, wants to build a little momentum as we see Segala wash up the track a little bit. Now they're going to go side by side across the start-finish line. Thunhorse has the inside advantage. They're going to go 2 by 2. 3 rows deep as they work their way out of turn number 2. Matthew Thunhorse takes over the race lead.
Fantastic move by Thunhorse on that start to get around Belke, and then he just read the situation perfectly, stuck his nose in on Segala. I mean, I was just saying he might get through without touching anybody. He did it on the first lap. That is something else.
It just shows the skills of Matthew Thunhorse as the caution is out. Multiple cars around, one on its roof. I believe that might be none other than Justin Morton involved in the incident, as he will get it turned around. But I think it's safe to say Morton not having the best of nights here.
No, and if I could just say, I think I heard him over-rev the engine there. Quite frustrating, and you can imagine for a driver of his talent level, Justin Morton, to be now involved in 2 different incidents. Let's take a look and see if that was anything to do with him, and see if he had anything to do with that. Here's Morton we're looking at, and no, he doesn't. In fact, that's Altice there, who just slides right out into him. If we go back to the yellow flag, we'll take a look here from Altice's point of view. Let's see if we can tell from on board exactly what took place here. Coming off the corner, they're kind of checking up in front, but I think he just does not see Morton on the outside. Maybe doesn't hear the spotter call. Either way, that is just unfortunate for both of these drivers. Altice also very skilled as well, but Morton we've seen up in that top 5 position so many times this season already.
We certainly have, and it's not going to be a great night for the Sonoma, California native, as he will have to come down pit road again to try to get some of that damage fixed, or his night might be done. Kevin Moody now will also still be 3 laps down at this time still, as he is trying to see if he can get some of his laps back to try and go out there and battle. Meanwhile, one of the other rookies, Stephen Hilbert, runs in the 14th position. As we watch and see, is Morton going to continue on? He's on pit road, as looks like the 70 of Ruben Altice will now exit off of pit road to continue on his way with his racing. Morton's still going to stay out on the track. Here comes the pace car as he's closing in to put him a lap down. Nope, Morton will go ahead and pull on out. He will try and stay on the late lap, as we have completed 20 laps here around Five Flag Speedway. It's going to be Matthew Thunhorst, your new race leader, followed by Sagala, Belke. Donnie Moore is now moved to 4th, with Joseph Snyder rounding out your top 5.
Well, and that was really heads up there by Morton to realize that the pace car was coming around. You know as well, Taylor, you're an iRacer, and you've got to watch when that pace car is going to be passing you, and no matter what's going on with your car, whether it's fixed or not, you've got to get out and save that lap. Hopefully you can manage to limp it around and get the rest of the repairs done when you come back. But for this particular instance, I don't think Justin's car was hurt too bad. It looked like he was able to get in behind Altice just fine. So hopefully he can either get the damage fixed on the next caution or he can suffer with it through the rest of this race.
Only time will tell as we get ready to go back green flag racing here in a few short moments, as they are now doubled up. Restart is in the air, about to kick off. The hard left turn by Benny, the pace car driver, will make his way off the circuit out of turn number 4. Bonnie, the flag man, will wave the green flag once again, and there goes Thunhorst powering down the front straightaway, heading into turn 1 as they thunder back out of turn number 2. All 18 drivers still out on the racetrack as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Sagala sends it in deep, washes up the racetrack, could open the door for Belke as he comes out of turn number 4 across the line. They will continue to go single file for your top 4. It's going to be side-by-side action from 5th on back.
5th on back, that's Snyder there on your camera right now, center screen, the number 39 car, and Todd Liston, Jason Menda fighting it out for position just behind. So remember, Menda started back in, I think it was 15th position, now all the way up to 6th. So actually 16th position is where he started. So taking that position there from Liston, Menda up 10 spots already, Snyder in front of him up 7. We've got some great climbers already in this race.
We certainly do, as we watch them fight their way through. How about the battle for second, as there you see J.R. Shepard now move up another spot into 7th position, but Belke is trying to take over second from Joe Sagala out of turn number 4. It is going to be Belke who beats him to the line quarter of the way through as they come through the middle of turns 1 and 2.
And Belke's not ready to roll over and play dead for these drivers yet. He's not ready to slide back into 3rd, 4th, 5th. He's going to give that Rainbow Warrior scheme all its historical value and go up there and challenge for this 2nd place and possibly see if he can do something with Thunhorst, who's basically disappeared off the front of this race, and that's a hard thing to do.
He's checked out by almost 1.5 seconds, as it's now down to 1.3 seconds now between him and Belke. Fastest car out on the racetrack is, of course, none other than Matthew Thunhorst, who set the fastest lap with a 16.435 as they work their way through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Out of turn number 4, it is Thunhorst still over Belke. He's a 10th faster last time by, as Belke will move to P2. How about Donnie Moore moving up to P3 as he is now in a podium spot? Joseph Snyder, Joe Sagala will battle for 4th as they go side by side. Then they got Shepard and Menda right behind him. And then in the catbird seat is your provisional pole sitter of Adam Shane. As there you see the Baton Rouge, Louisiana native of Joseph Snyder as he works his way out of turn number 2. He will move up to 4th position, trying to hold off Segala. And here comes the hometown favorite, Jason Menda, to the inside of Segala. He'll move up, maybe try to break the top 5. Not going to work this time, as he'll have to still do battle.
He's doing the battle. He's doing what needs to be done. Pensacola, Florida's Jason Menda is on the march towards the front. He's up 11 spots, now into 5th, and he's got the speed to potentially match the leader, Matthew Thunhorst. But he's got to get clear of these other cars and set sail for Thunhorst, and that's easier said than done. Still got several more very difficult drivers in front.
He certainly does, as we watch them do battle heading back into turns 1 and 2. It is still going to be now Kurt Smith who's trying to break into the top 8. He'll move to P8 after getting around Adam Shane. So he is now your provisional pole sitter as Shane claps the wall a little bit out of the back straightaway as they enter into turns 3 and 4. Liston will get around Seneca for 13th position. It is now single file throughout your field. These drivers now trying to settle in, log some laps as you see Seneca battling with the 87 of Todd Liston for position as they work their way back into turn 3 and 4. Seneca sends it in deep, and we see Todd Liston stuck on the outside as he hits the wall a little bit right there. That's now going to open the door for Ruben Altice to move up a spot.
Altice now up 3 spots. Of course, he's been involved in a couple of different incidents so far today, but nevertheless, he's fighting back. All these drivers not ready to give up. Nobody thus far has pulled it in and called it quits for the night. So just tells you what everybody is racing for. We're still kind of early in the championship here in the BRL. There's a lot to play for. And of course, there's still a lot of this race left and anything can happen. And once again, that's just one of those iRacing things, you know, no matter how many laps down you are, no matter how many seconds you may be back from the leaders, there's more laps. That means there's more positions to be gained.
There certainly is. Currently, your biggest mover is Jason Menda, gaining 11 spots right now. Joseph Snyder has gained about 7, and then you have Adam Shane, who's gained about, I'd say, almost 9, maybe 10 spots currently at this time. So those are some of your biggest movers out on the racing circuit. And, of course, your biggest losers have to go to Joe Segala, Jeffrey Harden, and Justin Morton, who are in 10th, 11th, and 12th at this time as you ride on board with your current race leader of Matthew Thunhorst, who leads the charge, currently 2.5 seconds up on Austin Belke. Donnie Moore trying to see if he can make it into a second-place position as he is about half a second back from Belke, and running very closely to the same lap times as Belke. Snyder doing the same thing as they work their way down the back straightaway. Currently, it is still Thunhorst, the fastest car on the racetrack still, and continues to grow that race lead.
And while he's continuing to grow that race lead, obviously these other drivers trying to position themselves where they want to be for the middle half of this race and then where they want to be at the very end. And you're always thinking about, what if that caution comes out? Can I possibly find myself in that second position and be able to make that late race move? You don't want to be buried back in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And as fast as these laps tick off, you got to think quickly here, Taylor. By the way, you know, you mentioned they do the Snowball Derby here. For those of the audience that don't know, it's pretty phenomenal things. It actually goes on for 4 days. It's become such a big deal in Pensacola that 4 straight days of racing action in the middle of December, which sounds like a snowbird's paradise to me. And so you can get your car out of the snow-covered garage, bring it down there, and that's been the story. And originally it was 100 laps around here in the old days, as we actually saw Jason Menda there on screen just tap the wall on the outside, so we'll have to keep watching that. But since the very first one that was 100 laps, it's now 300 laps for that Snowball Derby around here. Sounds like you got to be strapped in and have all your nutrition done and be ready for a very long afternoon in the car for that. But super late model, the star here in Pensacola, and the BRL super late model getting it done, putting on a great show here tonight.
one of the crown jewels of super late model racing here across the country. It has collected multiple different winners that have went on to become some of the biggest names in motor racing here at this track. So if you win here at this circuit, you have a chance to move to greatness in the world of stock car racing as we watch them work their way down the back straightaway, closing in on the halfway point. There's Jason Menda trying to see if he can get around Joseph Snyder for a top five position as they head down back into turns 1 and 2. It is still going to be a little bit of single file. Your battle right there has to be between Snyder and Menda as they work their way towards the back half of the course, heading back into turn 3.
Well, they're side by side, but I'll tell you what, it gives us a great chance to look at the reflective gold numbers and sponsorship there on that number 39 car alongside, glistening under the lights here as the sun just starts to set in Pensacola. It's a beautiful facility, and we're seeing some beautiful racing. There's Menda getting a little loose coming off the quarter. I tell you what, he's putting it all into it, Taylor. He's not going to leave anything on the table tonight.
He certainly is not. And just to give you an idea of who are some of the who's who of winning at this circuit, of course, the first Snowball Derby happened back in 1968 with Wayne Ninedecken Sr. winning that event. Then you have drivers such as Donnie Allison, Darrell Waltrip, Pete Hamilton, who went on to win in 74, 5, and 6, Gary Ballou in the 1980. And then, of course, you have drivers such as Ted Musgrave, Rick Crawford, Rich Bickle, Jeff Purvis, and then also Stephen Wallace, Kyle Busch in 2009, Johanna Long in 2010, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones went back-to-back in 2012 and 2013, John Hunter Nemechek went on in 2014, Christian Eckes in 2016, Noah Gragson, Ty Majeski, and Chandler Smith is currently your defending winner at the Snowball Derby at 2021. As they work their way through the middle of turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway, this circuit is really starting to heat up as the sun starts to set around this circuit as they continue to do battle for that third position between Moore and Shepard. J.R. Shepard looking to see if he can collect another win here at Five Flags.
Well, he's technically gained 3 spots from earlier, but of course JR getting into that first incident that brought out the caution. And so I still don't see any damage on that machine, and he didn't get it repaired, so I think he just got lucky there. But the number 98 car is coming forward and looking to see if he can go and challenge his good friend Austin Belke.
Pushing the envelope, trying to see if he can close that gap as they work their way through. We're already almost a little over halfway through with tonight's racing action here tonight at Five Flags Speedway as they continue to do actions. Currently 58 laps completed as they work across the start-finish line, heading back into turns 1 and 2. Currently, your provisional pole sitter is actually a battle between Adam Shane and Michael Goodman. Goodman currently holds it right now by just a nose over Adam Shane as they head back into turns 3 and 4.
And Goodman washes up just a little bit there. Thank goodness he didn't complete the full wash up and slide maneuver, but he kept it down low. And so these two continue to race on. Goodman's with 8 Ball Motorsports up 3 spots so far today. And we can see now Shane behind, just now under attack by Morton as well. So perhaps Shane not really finding the handle and certainly moving on that outside line. It's just not working for him. And so far tonight, it has seemed like the inside line is the only way to get it done. And there's Shane. He's going very high through turn 4.
Shane really pushing the envelope here as they go side by side for position. And it looks like Ruben Altice will move up a spot over Adam Shane, move him up to P12 as they continue to work their way across the field. There you see Ruben Altice, who was involved in an early incident, has now recovered quite nicely currently as he sits in that 12th position, trying to see if he can break into the top 10. As there's J.R. Shepard. He is right there. He's putting the pressure on Donnie Moore for third. Currently riding on board with J.R. Shepard as they work their way through the middle of turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway as they come off of turn 2. A little bit of a wiggle right there for J.R. Shepard as they head back into turns 3 and 4. Out of 4, he gets a great run, but has nowhere to go at this time as he's currently stuck behind Donnie Moore, who sends it in a little bit deep, washes up the track. This could be the opening he needs to get the run down the back straightaway. Not going to be good enough this time.
Well, and also we were just watching that moment with Adam Shane just not long ago. Well, he's decided that's enough. He's decided to pull it in. So he's currently in the pits and taking service. I'm not sure if he's going to return to the race tonight, but the handling went away from that machine, and possibly you got to watch some of these other cars. If they're hanging too tight out there on the outside, you may find yourself in that wall before too long.
That's going to be a tough break for Adam Shane as he's still on pit road. Kevin Moody also joins him down there as well. 16 cars are, actually 14 cars are on the lead lap. Stephen Hilbert, Todd Liston have just been put a lap down by the thunderous drive of Matthew Thunhorse, who currently holds on to about 4.7 seconds ahead of Austin Belke and still setting some very consistent lap times. And they've already fallen off by about half a second currently, running now in the 17-second brackets for these competitors as they work their way through. J.R. Shepherd still trying to find the opening he needs to get around Donnie Moore.
It's not easy here, but I tell you what, you got to hand it to Donnie Moore, who comes in here with almost half of the I rating as J.R. Shepherd, and he's holding his own. This is an ultimate defensive job of keeping your car as wide as possible to keep the driver behind you. But you got to keep in mind, J.R. Shepherd, multiple-time champion. He's won so many races, extremely skilled, and whether we're talking about cup cars, modified, it doesn't matter. He can step into it and drive it like nobody's business. So if Donnie Moore is keeping JR behind him, he's doing something right, and that is always great news for the BRL. Possibly Donnie Moore looking at a podium finish here tonight.
He's really going to give it everything he's got here in these closing stages. Just under 30 laps to go around the famous Five Flags Speedway as they continue to race on here down into turns 1 and 2. And it is still going to be J.R. Shepherd just poking and prodding, trying to find an opening to get onto the podium. I should ride on board with the 26 of Donnie Moore. Working into turn 3 and 4, he'll show the nose, but Moore just powers back on the outside lane. He got the momentum he needs. Can he hold on in these closing stages?
Holding on. Now that's the term. I mean, you can only imagine what it is like to drive under pressure like this. If you're not someone who's doing iRacing all the time, you're not a race car driver, it is something else. You're white knuckling it for basically 100 laps. You're holding down third position if you're Donnie Moore, and you've got J.R. Shepherd on your tail. I'm sweating bullets at this point if I'm Donnie, but hey, you get through it. You can always dry clean the driving suit tomorrow, and hopefully you get up there on the podium at the end. In the meantime, you know J.R. Shepherd just wants to get by so that he can try and make a beeline for Belke before he runs out of time.
He's going to try to do everything he can here as he's running out of time. We are now past 3/4 distance, 25 laps to go here around Five Flags as you're on board with Donnie Moore, who is doing a stellar performance of holding off the multiple-time champion of J.R. Shepherd.
I just don't think there's anything that you can do if you're JR. He's tried the inside. He's tried going up, and I mean, he hasn't tried the bump yet, but maybe that'll come. That's not really JR's style, though. He's usually a pretty clean racer, but at some point, we've all seen in Cup and other places when a driver gets frustrated. Oh, there's the nose underneath.
He'll finally send it into the inside with the opening he wants. Down the back straightaway, he'll go side by side with Donnie Moore. J.R. Shepherd sends it in deep. Is able to maybe pull the slide job? No. Moore with momentum on the outside. He'll still stay side by side, and it's going to be J.R. Shepherd who'll get through this time around as they come out of turn number 2. Finally clears him, and now sets his sights on none other than Austin Belke. He's 1.5 seconds back. 20 laps to go now as they come across the line here. It's going to be a drag race and a battle to see if Belke and Shepherd will be able to catch up to none other than Matthew Thunhorse. I think it's safe to say that will not happen, so it's going to be a race for second here, depending on the time.
Well, and he's still got some distance to go. 1.7 now, 1.8 fluctuating a little bit there. And it really comes down to how lap traffic might affect these drivers. Belke's looking pretty good right in front right now, but we just saw them make a move around Stephen Hilbert. And as these other drivers are drifting back through the field, it gets tougher and tougher to get those passes done, especially if you encounter a couple of drivers further back that might be battling. Take a look back here, though. We can see Justin Morton still trapped in between Goodman and Jeffrey Harden. So that position right there, very valuable in 8th place. But he's finding the same thing. We have another car, though, in the wall, number 87. That's Todd Liston. And I don't know if that is going to cause a problem or bring out a caution, but it seems like he's got it back under control.
He's going to continue on here. There's Todd Liston from Gas City, as he's going to try to continue on racing here. But for Todd Liston, not the best of nights for him, as he will try to hold on a little bit longer here in these closing stages. 16 laps to go. Working their way through out of turn number 4. There you see Liston trying to work his way through, letting the leaders by. He's now having to let Kerr Smith by in the 10th position. Currently, it is Justin Morton who holds on to that 8th position. So he's recovered nicely, and if he's able to hold on to that spot, he will be your pole sitter for the next round next Saturday night as the field continues to work their way through. 15 to go. There you see Kurt Smith holding strong in 10th position.
Absolutely, and always a great thing to be able to fight back in these races and get yourself into the top 10 and be fighting for some points, especially when you have an incident. But these drivers here at the front, Thunhorst has just looked dominant all night. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch him wheel this car around and do it better than anyone else in this field by far. But looking further back, it has been Belke who's held down second as well. He's not been struggling once he got back around Segala. He pretty much made a move to try to catch Thunhorst. He hasn't come up with the gap that he needed yet, but he's held his own there in second, and nobody else has challenged him. And then looking back to J.R. Shepard, what else can you say? The guy's climbed 4 spots. He was involved in an earlier incident, so he's climbed even more than that. I mean, JR proving that he's a multiple-time champion. And if he just had a few more laps, he might even be able to do more with it.
He certainly is, as he's going to try to close that gap. He's picked up another 2 tenths on Austin Belke. 10 laps to go here for your race leader, Matthew Thunhorst, who stretched out to 6.5 seconds over Austin Belke, and he currently has put up to 15th position a lap down, trying to set his sights on Ryan Seneker to put him a lap down momentarily as they work their way through the field. Double high fives from Barney the Flagman. 10 laps to go as he continues to log laps here, and it's great racing action all throughout the field.
This battle is still raging here for this 7th position. It's actually the 6th position. That's Menda there in that number 45 car, the 28 there of Michael Goodman in the yellow, and just behind Justin Morton, who's had such calamity tonight. But it's amazing to see that he's worked his way all the way back there into the 8th position. And now you see Morton trying to go around the outside of Goodman. On the outside.
Yeah, the outside is one of the difficult areas, but can work as the line continues racing. But here comes Goodman trying to hold off Justin Morton as they come out of turn number 4, and he will complete that pass on Michael Goodman, move him to P7. Jeffrey Harden now holds on to P8 as they continue to race side by side for position. I don't know, Trevor. I mean, if I was Justin, I would try to hold on to that 8th position. Let Jeffrey by. You start on the pole next race. That's a good opportunity to get some much-needed points here tonight. So we'll see what he decides to do. But he's going to go for 6th place now over Jason Menda.
Well, and that's really the question. Do you go for the position now and try and get those points that you know you can get, or do you try to get that pole position for next week? And I think that's what we saw from Michael Goodman when it looked like he just kind of pulled down low. Either he got loose or he just pulled down low because he wants that starting pole position for next week.
For Michael Goodman, that would be, I believe, his 2nd or 3rd pole position since this season began here, as we are now under the 5 laps to go. Currently now 3 to go here at Five Flag Speedways. Watching on as he continues to log laps, it is none other than Matthew Thunhorst, who will now come out of turn number 4. He will get the popsicle sticks in the air from Barney the Flagman. 2 laps to go here tonight, and he is absolutely put a dominant performance on this field. Out of turn 2, down the back straightaway, lap traffic in front of them, but no pressure whatsoever from behind as he put Seneker a lap down. Out of turn number 4, it is going to be the white flag in the air for Matthew Thunhorst as he crosses the line one more time around. through turns 1 and 2. He has absolutely stolen this race win away and never looked back and taken this race by the horn. Out of turn number 4 for the final time, Matthew Thunhorse wins at Five Flags.
What an astounding victory for Thunhorse. I think he really quieted any sort of critics that might have been in the crowd tonight. He just went out there and got it done with a couple of fantastic passes as we see some drivers crashing there across the line. But what a fantastic race by Matthew Thunhorse.
Matthew Thunhorse will now take home the checkered flag here and much valuable points as well, as we see him out there celebrating. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll give you your full field rundown and interview with Matthew Thunhorse, Austin Belke, and J.R. Shepard. You're watching the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen on the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to VGN's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League presented by Gargamel's Kitchen, live from the virtual Pensacola, Florida at the Five Flags Speedways here, as we are going to give you your final finishing results for today's action, followed by your interviews with your podium finishers. It is none other than Matthew Thunhorse, who wins by an astounding 7.8 seconds over Austin Belke. J.R. Shepard will round out the podium with a 2-3 finish by Different Path Motorsports. Then it's Donnie Moore in 4th, Joseph Snyder 5th from Rougarou Racing, followed by the TDR driver of Justin Morton in 6th. 7th is Loose Lug's very own Jeffrey Harden, and he will be on the pole next week. It is none other than Jason Menda, rounding out your top 8 positions. Michael Goodman and Kurt Smith round out your top 10, followed by Joe Segala, Ruben Altice, Ryan Seneker will be the first car one lap down, with Bruce Pearson, Todd Liston, Stephen Hilbert in 16th. Then Adam Shane, Kevin Moody did not finish. With that, we now go to our third place finisher. J.R. Shepard will join us here in the booth as we get him set up here. JR, a strong performance after starting midfield here tonight, but was able to come home with a podium finish. Walk us through tonight's race.
A little bit frustrating for sure. Definitely had a lot of speed. Had a car that was definitely capable of trying to win the race tonight, and just got caught up in someone else's mess, and unfortunately took Justin with me, so kind of ruined both of our races there. But yeah, after spinning and sliding that far down the track, the tires were pretty well gone, and it was just extremely hard to try to get a pass or try to get underneath somebody coming off the corner. So took most of the race to try to get back into the top 3, and I didn't think that was achievable. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that, but still disappointed.
A lot of things still yet to come for you this season as we go now to another famous short track, to North Wilkesboro Speedway next week. Your thoughts on that race next week? See if you can maybe try to overcome that and maybe have a shot of a win.
Yeah, North Wilkesboro, I like for the most part. It just depends on the way the setup ends up being for us, so we'll have to see how that works out. But it's definitely one of those race tracks that wears the tires out, and you have to watch the line that you're running to make sure that you're taking care of those tires. So look forward to that, and trying to have a good run next week.
We'll let you go with that, JR. Anyone you would like to give a thank you to?
Yeah, just again, thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for putting this on Friday nights and Saturday nights. So it gives us a great place to race. Thank you guys at the Virtual Grip Network for everything you do. You do a great job of trying to make us look good each and every week. So appreciate that, and pretty proud of Different Path Motorsports with Austin coming home in second tonight. So having two in the top three is pretty cool.
It certainly is. And with that, we will actually turn it over to Trevor Greenfield as he speaks to your teammate, Austin Belke.
Indeed. Let's see that we have Austin with us. Oh, there he is. Hey, Austin Belke. Great to talk to you here in the Virtual Grip Network interview room. So congratulations on a fantastic second place there. Just getting ahead of your teammate, J.R. Shepard. But it looked like a pretty status quo race for you. Once you got by who you needed to, you pretty much just parked it in second. Tell us how the race was for you. Walk us through it.
Hey, Trevor, that's pretty awesome. I get to talk to you. Yeah, it's pretty much status quo race. I kind of figured once the caution came out and Matt was in third, he'd get by me on the restart. I had to race Donnie pretty hard there to make sure that I kept third for myself. But yeah, once we got around Joe, pretty much just sat in second as long as possible. I tried to save my tires. I saw Donnie back there fending people off. He did a whale of a job. It's really hard to be competitive here. With, he kind of had that banged up front bumper. So he was probably off about 10 or so pounds of downforce off the front end, and the cars just don't drive very well when you're losing that much performance. So he did a great job, and I just try to manage the tires to stay ahead of JR.
Well, one quick question. Thunhorse basically moved into the lead and just took off like a rocket off the front of this race. What was going on there? What were you trying to do to catch him? Was there anything that you think you could have done to catch him, or did you just need a yellow and a quick dive on the next lap?
Matt's just got some extra boost of performance here. I don't know what it is with these cars, especially. He's really fast. They're pretty tight in the center. Matt's usually, I think he's kind of more apt to driving those than a car that's, say, loose. So he's really phenomenal with just a slightly tight race car. And so he'd blow my doors off any day of the week here. And this is just a track that suits his style well. So once he started pulling away, I kind of knew I was dusted. It's basically just try and hold on to second. I tried to save my tires if there was a late race restart. Maybe I could fight him off to the high side. The high side did start to come in, and if I could have pinched him, maybe I would have had a shot. But he's just so much faster than me here. Second was all I had.
And nevertheless, it's one of those championship kind of days. You're going to walk away with some great points. Final question. We're headed to North Wilkesboro next week. Any thoughts there? And then is that your kind of track? And then also any thanks that you have to give before we move on.
Yeah, well, pretty excited for North Wilkesboro. I guess I'll answer them in order, sorry. Championship outlook, pretty good to finish one spot ahead of JR. Matt's going to continue being the points lead, but I think he's mentioned he might as well in a couple seconds that he has to miss the next couple races for whatever reason. So it's certainly going to take him out of the championship hunt. But JR is one of those drivers where you might beat him by a position once or twice, but you're not going to continue to do that all throughout the season. So he's definitely still in this, as is Justin. But yeah, solid points day. I was really hoping Donnie would be able to stay there and put some more points between JR and I, but super happy for JR. He did a well of a job recovering from that early caution. Justin did too. In terms of North Wilkesboro, I really like that track. I think I run pretty well there. JR kind of went through there and taught me how to run it. So I'm looking forward to North Wilkesboro each and every time we go there. It's a really fun track to race on. Hopefully we get two grooves, unlike the last couple times we've been there. And then in terms of thanking people, I got to thank the good Lord, my parents, my amazing girlfriend, Jacqueline, you guys for doing a great job tonight in the booth. You guys kind of operating on a skeleton crew. So fantastic job. I'm sure I'll watch the broadcast back. And Taylor does a great job. And Trevor, you do a phenomenal job with the directing. And I just can't get over how good you are at finding this stuff in there. And I don't know if you did play-by-play or color with Taylor, but I'm sure if you did, it was a phenomenal job. I got to thank Lowell for putting the league on. All the guys that race here, they make BRL what it is. I got to thank Gargamel's Kitchen. They're a fantastic partner with us. I got to thank my team owner, JR, Different Path Motorsports. He's a fantastic teammate and does a really good job to kind of show me the ropes and let me know what I'm doing wrong. I got to thank Matt and Justin for hanging out in TeamSpeak and congratulate Matt for the win.
Indeed. Congratulations to him and congratulations to you on second. And thank you so much for the kind words. And I'll look forward to doing some more coverage with you Tuesday night when we do the PGRL here on Virtual Grip Network. Congrats on second and good luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. See you Tuesday.
All right. So with that, I think Taylor is caught up with our race winner, Matthew Thunhorst.
I've caught up with Mr. EV himself, Matt Thunhorst, who just absolutely put a dominant drive on the field. Matthew, 7.8 seconds ahead of the field. Talk to us about what makes this track so special to you.
Well, it's kind of like I sat there and said in past broadcasts where it's I took a vacation down to the Panhandle last year and actually was able to walk this track. And, you know, Five Flags is kind of the track that's home track away from home, essentially, for me. And, you know, just I like running this place. And, you know, I definitely think what helped me tonight was, you know, like lap 7 or 8, whenever it happened. But looking up in the mirror and just seeing the whole field died and, you know, all the guys that were going to probably compete against me got caught up in that. So, you know, yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, I was able to then jump on that and restart there and get to the lead. And I didn't look back. And at that point, you know, I was just trying to run laps. And at some point, I was like, ooh, I wonder how many guys I can lap if I keep charging. So, you know, just it's a fun place tonight. It was definitely an uneventful drive. Didn't really have a whole lot going on around me. So,
well, we head off now to another famous racetrack, North Wilkesboro. Any final thoughts about that event for you next week, or are you unable to compete this next coming race?
we'll see. We're getting to about the point where I'm going to have to pack it up for the season due to some events going around, so I don't know if this is my last or next week will be my last race, but, you know, Wilkesboro, if I get to attend it, it's always an interesting race, you know, with the fact that you're going downhill into one and uphill into three, and both ends of the track drive pretty differently from each other, despite the fact on an aerial view the ends of the track look almost exactly the same. So I think that'll be an interesting track. And don't know if you'll see, at least on 1 and 2, you'll see some outside driving, so a lot of 2-wide action there probably, but 3 might be a little bit harder to hang on there, but I think it'll put on a good race next week regardless. So.
Well, that is your race winner, Trevor Greenfield, or sorry, that's our producer and my co-host tonight, Trevor Greenfield, but Matthew Thunhorst, your race winner here tonight. And Trevor, final thoughts for tonight's action before we wrap it up and head up to the great state of North Carolina for the hallowed grounds of North Wilkesboro.
Absolutely. Final thoughts are it was exciting. It was action-packed, and there was some great passes. I mean, if you blinked, you kind of missed the pass that was for the win, but Thunhorst, though, going out there and winning by 7.8 seconds, that's just something we don't really see here in the BRL. Usually it's like a second to 2 seconds of a victory max. So, I mean, I think if the rest of the field is paying attention, there's one name that they have got to be watching out for, and that is Matthew Thunhorst headed forward.
It certainly is. With that, though, we got to give a big thank you to Gargamel's Kitchen once again for sponsoring the Bootleg Racing League Super Late Model Series. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentina Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. And of course, it is time that we say good night. The next time the BRL Super Late Model Series will return is on July 21st at 9 p.m. from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The next time you'll see VGN back on the air is July 19th at 8:50 for the PGRL Premier Series live from the virtual Magic Mile itself, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, and we will see you soon.